Let's move on to our final topic, and we are talking Kawhi Leonard and whether the San Antonio Spurs should trade the star forward that has currently been hampered with a quad injury, played a couple games this year, but hasn't been able to stay fully healthy, and they officially shut him down not too long ago. And now, I think it was 4 days ago on January 22nd, Adrian Wojnarowski put out a story. I think Zach Lowe also backed it up as well from ESPN, saying that Kawhi Leonard and the San Antonio Spurs have a rift that has appeared between the front office and the star forward. And now people have brought up the fact that, hey, maybe the San Antonio Spurs would trade Kawhi Leonard. So this isn't really will they or won't they, because I think the general consensus is
no.
they won't.
Hell no.
Shouldn't. But now it's really should they. And Ricky, we're going to you.
Okay.
2K Ricky, what is the tinfoil hat saying?
Should you this year? No. Next year, let's talk about it.
Oh,
like
why is that?
You're putting it on the table?
The only reason why I put it on the table for next year is because right now I feel like, first off, Pop is going to push off any drama rumors because he doesn't want that around the team. But also I feel like next year could be the year, if there really is a rift, then it's, you know what, the front office basically coming to the situation where it's like, well, do we want to try to fix it, or do we want to try to get something out of him because he's probably going to decline his player op for 2019-2020. That's why next year becomes interesting.
And especially he's gonna decline the player option just because he wants to make more money, and he's going to be able to make more money than $21 million.
And if there's a rift, he's going to leave.
Well, not even that. I was just going to say, especially with this injury, he's shown that his career can be taken away even if his body's not going to be breaking down. So he wants to maximize the money that he's going to be making. So that's the main reason I'm going to be making. But really, let's bring up this rift because, I mean, obviously, you know, we think they're not going to trade him because he's a star player. You're not going to get the value that you actually deserve for Kawhi Leonard no matter what the situation is. And with Kawhi, I don't think this is a big rift. I think this is something that could be worked out. What I think it is just more frustration. I feel Kawhi is probably like, hey, I can go, I can play.
Yeah.
And Pop is looking at this right now, and the Spurs just in general looking at this as, we are doing fine without you. You are not 100%, so we're just going to hold you off until you are 100%, and you can be, on the floor without us worrying if you're going to go down, because you are our superstar. You are the face of our franchise from here on out. So we want to make sure that while we don't need you, you can become 100%. And I know they brought in tons of doctors to help him out.
Yeah.
Tony Parker had a similar injury, and Tony had a worse injury, and he recovered quickly. So the whole thing is just like, I think Kawhi is frustrated that he's not recovering well enough, or at least well enough to their liking. I think Kawhi probably wants to be playing, and he's just frustrated in general, and he probably looks as the Spurs as holding him back. I don't think this is anything where he dislikes the Spurs front office. He doesn't dislikes Pop. He wants to be out. This doesn't seem like Kawhi's demeanor. So I feel like overall this rift can be something that's mended, and I think that, you know, should they? No, because I think this, this rift between Kawhi Leonard and San Antonio will be mended once he starts playing.
Well, and I mean, that's why I said, like, next year's the true question, because if there really is a rift, next year is when we're going to get the trade questions because of the player out.
Well, also the fact, if they're shutting him down, when is he going to come back? Is he going to come back by this year's trade deadline? Probably not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and you can't trade a player who, yes, he's a superstar. We all know that. But you're going to, tank his value. If you're not playing him right now and he has an injury, we don't know how he's going to come back. So you really have no value, at least the true value of Kawhi Leonard right now, if you're going to trade him this year. So I agree that if a trade's going to happen, it's either going to be happening during the offseason or next year. Dave, do you think that they're going to trade him?
Yeah, I think they honestly are. No. Fuck no. There's zero chance of them ever moving Kawhi Leonard. He is locked into San Antonio for his life. That's the deal. It's frustration with the training staff. It's frustration.
That was the deal when he was drafted?
Yeah.
Like, you're here for life?
Yeah.
Put the soul in the box?
He didn't have a soul coming in. I don't know if you watched him in college. That boy did not have a soul. It's a 76ers level of, like, horrible training staff, just incidents put together that has led to the situation. Like you said, it's frustration of similar players coming back quicker from similar injuries, and he is still on the shelf. And when he came, it's like, we'll bring Kawhi back for a game. Oh, that didn't look so great. Let's maybe you're still hurt a little. Maybe again, let's try. No, you're still sore. Okay, let's see what's going on. It's just mismanaging the situation.
Are they overthinking it?
I think it's just the fact that he wants to play because he has it in him, and I don't know if he was correctly set up for a recovery path and the right timeline with the right training, with the right recovery stuff for him in this situation. I feel like maybe that was mishandled, and that's where this frustration is coming from, because now he does maybe feel a little bit like they are succeeding without me. How does this look for me? Because I was the guy who, with me, we could take down Golden State. That's where I left off at. And now this team is on track for, another 55-win year.
Yeah.
Like, nothing's ever changed because it's just San Antonio.
Well, and the thing, too, is you look at LaMarcus Aldridge, and LaMarcus Aldridge finally coming out and looking like the player that they wanted him to be.
They signed him.
Yeah, when they signed him. And now Kawhi's probably like, well, this team's clicking better than it was last year. I mean, this team has, another star that I can work with. I'm not going to be carrying the load like I was last time. Now LaMarcus seems comfortable in the role, and him and Pop worked out things because him and Pop had disagreements on how LaMarcus should be playing. Now Pop's just letting LaMarcus be LaMarcus. So now I think it's just Kawhi is just frustrated with the opportunity of not being out there. I think you bring up a great point, too. He wants to take down Golden State. He feels like that was taken away from him because in Game 1, they were up and Zaza falls on his foot.
Let me bring this up also because I was looking for this because I remembered hearing it, but now I have it in front of me. After the news had broke about there's a rift between Kawhi and the Spurs front office, Jalen Rose on First Take said that Leonard wants to leave San Antonio, and he said the reason why is tenfold. One is they've been unable to attract elite level, all NBA caliber free agents to come play with him. Here's the thing. You want to know what, and I know we talked about this earlier, I don't think this is going to happen for the Spurs, but you want to know what shuts that up? Is if they get LeBron. That's how you solve it. You get LeBron to come to the Spurs.
What are you smoking?
If they could pull that magic off,
does that sound like a San Antonio move?
No.
If
but
they
I'm
can pull that
saying
magic off, sure. But I mean, I think the point there kind of goes back to the core of it, of why are we giving Paul Gasol money? Why are we giving all of these aging players money? And yes, they've served their time with Pop. They've done great in their career, but it's the one splitting point where I feel like, and we always equate these two teams. It's the Patriot way.
For loyalty.
It's the Patriot way and the San Antonio way, the two most successful franchises in sports in the last 2 decades. And you look back, you're like, the Patriots are known for knowing when talent has peaked and knowing to get out and not pay them that extra contract. And I feel like Pop has given a lot of money back to guys who have earned it under him. And Kawhi's like, dude, I'm coming up. I'm prime. I want to keep going for championships. You can't re-sign Paul Gasol to another, $15 million contract. Like, that is not helping us win games. You have to set me up with somebody who works with me. LaMarcus Aldridge doesn't work with me. And you watched that, and they haven't jived. And that's why I think another thing he wants to get back to is because, look, if they don't have time to get together before playoffs this season, it could be another shit show. And that's... I get it. But, yeah, it's where are they doing, where do they spend their money, and does it line up with his best interest? And there's a legitimate question there.
Well, and the one thing, too, before we get to that question, is I think the other final thing that annoyed Kawhi, too, is you look at January, and it looked like January was finally coming back. And you look at that last game that he played against Denver, he was able to at least show flashes of old Kawhi. Put up 28 points, got to the line 11 times, went 9-11 from the field, was efficient from the field as well. Really didn't get that 3 down when he was back in there. But, again, he was looking like the old Kawhi, and I feel like it's just, deflating when you go into that situation. You start getting healthy. You start finally having the game that you feel like you could probably put on night in, night out, and then they're like, all right, we're shutting you down. I think that's just something that's too. But let's go to at least the thing that Dave was bringing up, and let's talk about the stars and at least the whole system of San Antonio. I feel like if you're in that system, and Kawhi, who's been in that system since 2011, 2012, whenever he was drafted, you kind of understand the system, and you really start to stop questioning moves at some point. And I think obviously the biggest head scratcher is bringing in Paul Gasol, who gets 3 years, $38 million. But the thing is that you look at Paul Gasol and you look at the defense when Paul Gasol's in there, an old man playing center who is not known for his defense, hasn't been known for his defense in years.
Yep.
This team is still super efficient defensively with Paul Gasol in there, and they look great. And I think it's just something where you got to stop questioning the system, and I feel like Kawhi isn't the guy to really step that boundary and start questioning the system. I feel like he might get upset seeing, Paul George, Carmelo Anthony come over to OKC with Russ and be like, hey, where's my help? You see Kevin Durant go to Golden State. You see Kyrie Irving get what he wants and go to Boston. I feel like obviously that is a factor, but then again, I feel like if you're in San Antonio, you understand the system, you are going to be okay with the moves that Pop's making because, again, this franchise has been so successful under him.
Here's the question I'm going to ask, because last year, everyone can go back to last year, like Dave said, the point that I left off was, with me, we could have taken down the Warriors. That Spurs team was playing a lot better last year. than they are this year. They were a 61-win team.
They also had Kawhi Leonard.
I know. This year, Kawhi's been injured, hasn't been out there. But also, this is a team where I haven't really seen the same, and you could say it's just because Kawhi isn't out there, but really if Kawhi is out there, I still think that this is a race between the Warriors and the Rockets in the end this year. It's just what my eyes are telling me this year.
We were saying that last year too.
Yeah.
And then the Spurs come out of nowhere, not out of nowhere, but like they do come out and they
found
handle
a way
it
to make the matchups work for them.
and they handle it well in the postseason.
Do you think it's an issue where Kawhi's also looking at going, hey, you know what? This team's a year older. We're probably not going to get another chance like we did last year yet again. How do we do that? Get younger talent in here, not keeping around a Tony Parker at the end of the year, a Manu Ginobili.
Let's bring this up because now Tony Parker is now on the bench, and now we see DeJounte Murray check into the point guard position, starting point guard position. David Nice boy back in that draft, and we loved him. He seemed like a Spurs kid. I think I mocked him to the Spurs. It was one of my first mocks too.
Yep.
I'm proud of that pick.
He was our pre-Malcolm Brogdon Award winner.
He was my sleeper. I love that kid, and DeJounte Murray's been absolutely fantastic on the starting lineup for the San Antonio Spurs.
Recently,
he's
starting lineup.
Recently, he's been good.
Yeah.
And again, he's 21 years old.
The best part is he knows his limitations.
Well, and if
he's not jacking up threes.
Well, and if we're talking about young players, DeJounte Murray defensively looks like he could be a guy that can switch and help you when you're going up against the San Antonio Spurs. And offensively, if you have LaMarcus Aldridge clicking and you have Kawhi Leonard clicking when healthy, then DeJounte Murray doesn't need to do that much offensively. So again, I think the young talent is there, and again, I think it's about trusting the system. I'm not going to say process because I think that's copyright infringement. But at least with that, I think that Kawhi, again, isn't a guy that's going to overstep that boundary, and I don't think this is a thing where they should trade Kawhi Leonard because there's really no reason to trade Kawhi Leonard because if you're trusting the system, Kawhi is the guy, the cog that's going to move this whole machine when he comes back and he's healthy, and you just want to make sure that cog is healthy and is going to be working at 100%. This guy is pretty much a robot as it is. Plugging him in at 100% is going to make that cog spin faster. You're going to see DeJounte Murray look even better because Kawhi's going to be able to take more of a load. And then also LaMarcus Aldridge, if Aldridge is able to do his thing like he's been doing this year, you're going to see him and Kawhi, I think, at least work together or at least work off of each other in different ways. Maybe not together, but at least off of each other in the same lineup, along with DeJounte Murray, Danny Green, and then Tony Parker coming off the bench. I feel like it's just something where just let it happen, trust what's going on, and you're going to get healthy at some point, Kawhi.
See, I'm looking at the contracts right now, and I kind of feel like the thing of if the Spurs wanted to get somebody big in free agency, they might have shot themselves in the foot this year because it's like the only big contract you have coming up this year is Tony Parker.
Danny Green.
Right.
And
he needs 10 mil.
Danny Green, player op.
Yeah, but he's going to decline that player op. He's going to get more money.
There you
so you're
go.
going to have to pay Danny Green more money.
The one contract I look at, and this is the one I want to ask you guys about, you feeling confident in that re-signing of Patty Mills still? Because I look at that and I go, wow, that's some money that I would probably spend elsewhere than Patty Mills.
On its own, it's not a bad deal, but in the team's state, I don't necessarily agree with it. The problem was
9.7 a night in 24.3 minutes a game.
The problem is he was put into a great role during the end of the year last year, and he went out on a high note, and he looked like one of the potential best six men in the league when the season ended. So there was reason to buy high, and the value there, I mean, at 10, 12, 13 million, not awful with the CBA going the way it's going. The problem is locking into that price for that many years on this team and its current state, like, it's that plus the Gasol contract. It's that plus the other contracts that make it bad. On its own, it's not a bad signing.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because it's like
within their system, it might not be the best.
Like, could you imagine if you had both the Mills contract and the Parker contract coming up this year?
Yeah.
Like, that would be great. But it's like, oh, we got the Tony Parker, we got the Danny Green. Oh, yeah, but we're still stuck with that Mills contract.
Yeah, but you don't want to get rid of Danny Green. Danny Green now has been a great two for you.
This is one of his better years,
No, but I'm just saying for the money. Yeah. The money
comes
coming
out. It's also a player
out.
contract. That's why. And, but I agree. The money is not going to be there. I think the biggest faux pas that they did was re-signing Paul Gasol for $16 million for 3 years. That's the biggest mistake they made. And again, right now, it's not like Paul's been playing terribly. It's not like Paul has been a detriment to this team. And it's obviously helped with Kawhi being out. But it's going to hurt them when he's 39, 40, making this money.
We're assuming he's going to retire at some point, and they're going to stretch it. But at the same time, it's still like that's still
like,
dead money.
Yeah, it's still like, however much money you're going to have to stretch that out for. That's still money that you're losing and not being able to put towards contract.
Kind of like how they're paying Timmy D 1.8 in dead cap just for this year and next year.
But also the thing that I want to go to
that's
is
what
now.
I'm saying. We're going to stretch it out.
And one thing that I want to go to now is, really, who would they be bringing in? Who would they be looking to bring in? It's not like this is the San Antonio Spurs. They're not going to go out and get LeBron James. I know you threw that out there, but that's not. Out there. I know you did. But I'm just saying, like, that's not a move that they would make.
Right.
Paul George. I don't think that's a move that they're going to go and make. Like, that doesn't seem like they're going to go out and give a max deal to a player. I mean, they did it once to LaMarcus, but outside of that, and even that it's usually homegrown talent.
I'm telling you, I'm going full 2K on this, but like, I don't think the pairing of Kawhi and LaMarcus Aldridge works. I just don't buy on it yet. It hasn't clicked yet. I don't think it will. I think
technically we haven't seen it work this year. I mean, we haven't had the chance to see it work this year.
True.
Maybe this year would be different.
Maybe it'll be different. Up to this point, I feel like that is a bad pairing, and I think that if they had the opportunity to move Aldridge, they would have or should have done that. Like, if you can get a deal where you swap Aldridge plus for another player on his level, that just outside All-Star range, who might be a better fit for this team.
Possibly could be an All-Star.
Could be an All-Star, yeah.
Probably
and that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, that would be a great deal to take. Like, I know he's been carrying this team this year, and no disrespect to him, it's just the fit with Kawhi is the thing that I bring in question, because like you said, it's like, what can you add? Danny Green's been a great 3-and-D player for the majority of his career. You've got Tony Parker, who's been slick as all hell as the point guard for his entire life. Patty Mills, like I said, great 6-man. DeJounte developing. So point guard, you seem to have a future locked in. You have DeJounte being now the starter, Tony Parker bench, and Patty Mills coming off and kind of soaking that 1 and 2 guard combo. And that's the thing. It's like, do you want to go out and get yourself a star point guard, a star shooting guard to take over? Maybe, maybe not. But maybe filling a role at center, getting rid of Gasol. Shit, well, I'll take a Gasol for Gasol deal.
Well, I mean, Gasol for Gasol.
Do it again.
The thing that I'm looking at is, like you said, the two positions I looked at, point guards and shooting guards. I'm looking at Hoops Hype of who could technically be free agents. First one on there is Chris Paul. I think he stays with the Rockets, not a question.
Yeah, seems like a good fit there.
Do you want to bring in an IT if he hits free agency?
No.
Is that a deal you want to make?
Not with this injury. Especially, 31 years old? Or 30 years old? Hold on, real quick. I just want to, I think I threw this out on Twitter. Or it was the article that I was going to type up about my joke of how to fix the Cleveland Cavaliers. Remember when we were shit-talking giving IT a max contract when his contract came out? Because if he gets injured or when he's 30 years old, his athleticism is going to run out and he's not going to be the same player. I just want to say, haha, Boston Celtics fans, you were yelling at us back then. We were right. So
next one down, Alfred Payton.
Hilariously,
but he's restricted. Then you have Tony Parker, Jalen. Rondo would probably be the best bet if he was there.
Rondo
but that's
would be an
not,
interesting fit.
But that's not like we're hitting a home run in free agency. Well, I mean, if they let Tony walk.
No, because they bought in on DeJounte. DJ's their boy now.
But and then Patty Mills is backup. Yeah, they just signed him. And just trashed on the contract.
And then, if you look at the shooting guards, it's Avery Bradley.
That's the one that it's basically a side grade to Danny Green. Like, I don't think
very similar.
But it's not sexy. It's not like that. You're getting LeBron.
Well, that's a Spurs move.
Yeah, Levine. I think he stays with the Bulls. Then it's like D Wade. No. You got Tyreek Evans.
Who could go anywhere? That's the problem.
You know who'd be an interesting one? I mean, Marcus Smart's technically above him, but Lou Will if he can't get an extension from the Clippers. If anything's not worked out and it's free agency.
What is this team missing to compete? That's what you have to ask is what do they need to help match up against the Warriors and the Rockets?
I would say a scoring option at the one or the two.
But I think that's, right now it looks like the one's going to be DeJounte for the rest of the season. And then for the rest of the season, probably the rest of his contract. Yeah. But then also looking at Patty Mills, I mean, it feels like their one is set. And then with the two, I feel like they're going to go with more of that defenders because when they're going up against Golden State.
Me Illini great Brandon Paul can't bring it down at the 2 for you?
Great job. But the thing is when you're going up against Golden State and you're going up against Houston, you want to have defenders that can switch and move. So I think you're probably going to go with a Danny Green or an Avery Bradley because it's going to be the best for the system. It's not going to be sexy. You don't need a sexy pick, though. And then the 3, you're obviously set with Kawhi Leonard. then it's really the 4 and 5 that you're looking at, and really the only sexy move that you can move or make is probably DeMarcus Cousins. And Boogie's going to be a free agent, and I don't know if that's really a San Antonio move. It doesn't scream like a San Antonio. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a San Antonio fit there with his personality. But hey, if Pop is able to work with him, and Pop is able to at least let Boogie be Boogie, Kawhi Leonard, LaMarcus Aldridge, and DeMarcus Cousins sounds like a damn good big three if you're asking me. So,
and it all comes back to the original quote that I came from with Jalen Rose.
That was shocking.
No. Just the part of elite all NBA caliber talent. I'm not seeing that from any of the guys that we listed. Like free agents that we were like, yeah, I could see him signing with this team besides Boogie. I'm not.
That's hella disrespectful,
Chris Paul too.
Yeah, I said he's going back to the Rockets. Though.
Well, but the whole thing is that
sign with the Spurs.
But the whole thing is one, Jalen Rose. I like Jalen Rose. He's a fun guy to listen to. But like, just because Jalen Rose says one thing, I don't really care.
Take it with a grain of salt. Take it with how you want it. But if that's true,
but what I'm saying.
That
goes back to the whole system thing. If Kawhi is truly bought into the system and he knows the way the Spurs operate, he's not going to expect an elite level player. He's not going to expect a Boogie. He's not going to expect a Chris Paul. He's not going to expect a LeBron James. He's not going to expect a Paul George. He is going to expect a team that is going to work well and be a well-oiled machine.
Let me play this devil's advocate, kind of like you did with the Bucks segment, because we don't know how Giannis was thinking. What if Kawhi's sitting there going, "We're seeing it with the Warriors. The Rockets have done it. The Cavs are trying to do it. We see all these teams trying to recruit and bring on. What if the system is it's aged? It's too old. This isn't going to work.
You're still winning games. You're still going to the Western Conference Finals.
This system is not going to win us a championship. What if he's had that thought? What if he's saying if I don't start being a recruiter and we start bringing in guys, this system will not win in this NBA.
Then what is the best fit for him? Then where is the best fit? Like what if
he's demanding a trade to a team?
I'm not saying demanding a trade. I'm saying bringing in talent.
Stop! Don't listen to Dave. Put yourself in Kawhi Leonard's shoes, both of you.
Yeah.
Where would be the place that is better than San Antonio? The consistent playoff contender, consistently deep in the playoffs, consistently at the top of the Western Conference, in the top 4, in the top 3, in the top 2, consistently up there. Put yourself in Kawhi Leonard's shoes, and where are you going to be consistently up there to be fighting for a championship? It's not like they're the favorites, but they're damn well competing for a championship. Where is a place out there that is an actual fit that can take on his contract and also re-sign him and give him the money that he deserves?
Houston.
What if they get LeBron?
No, I'm saying
and also,
like if they don't get LeBron, like if you're going to go and get LeBron, you can pay for Kawhi Leonard. Let's be honest. This is a situation they don't get LeBron. LeBron goes to LA.
How are you going to work the contract?
Kawhi could go there. What do you mean?
Because Harden is currently on a max contract. Chris Paul's coming up, so he's going to have to sign for a max contract because you're not going to get Chris Paul for less than that.
The Players Association's not doing that.
Ryan Anderson's still going to be under contract when Kawhi Leonard is going to be need to be re-signed. Same as Eric Gordon as well, and PJ Tucker. Right there,
it's
that
the same.
Combines.
All I would say without getting into too much of it, because the contracts is where I start. My head starts hurting. However, if it'd be the same way you'd sign LeBron, except it's Kawhi. Like if
moves would be made.
Yeah, if you're going like if you're seriously going to bring on LeBron with CP3, you can do it with Kawhi.
But the difference is LeBron's going to be a free agent this year.
No, I know.
Kawhi has one more year to do that.
Yeah.
That's going to be a year older of Chris Paul. So what are you going to do that year if you're Houston? Houston's expecting to make a move. If LeBron James is out there this upcoming year, I'm going to go get LeBron James and not wait for Kawhi Leonard because Kawhi Leonard's not certain that he's coming to Houston.
And I'm just going at the base question of you said of what team would put you. Houston's the one I think of, and he could fit in because if you're going for LeBron, you're putting him at the small forward. You can put Kawhi there.
Okay. So is there any other team?
Any other team? Off the top of my head, you're not going to go to any Eastern Conference team. Boston doesn't need you.
I would say go for the Raptors or something. That one would just be a fun fit. They'd have to trade their youth off their bench probably to get you there.
Or get rid of Lowry.
Oh, yeah, they could do that too. It's just like that would be an interesting fit. That's all I'm saying. Is you would have basically the East. We're assuming if LeBron leaves the East is up for grabs between Boston, yourselves, and wild card teams coming in. So,
no, never mind. I was going
the Wizards. Yeah, no, they're fucked with contracts.
No.
Already.
What I was going to say, because there's the drama now with John Wall.
There's no drama there.
If the Beal Wall,
he called JJ Barea a little person, and then JJ Barea came back and said that his teammates don't like him. There's no drama there.
What I'm saying is, if they ever get rid of Beal, is the one I would think of. If they ever break that up, but then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. They overpaid for Otto Porter, so there's that.
I don't know about overpaid.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way: he's there, and Kawhi. You
I would rather have Kawhi.
You go Otto Porter for Kawhi in a deal.
No one's disagreeing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't see Kawhi leaving.
No.
Kawhi is consistently going to be there.
Lifer.
Pop is just going to move into a front office space when he moves. Who were we talking about?
Messina.
But Messina's going to just take over as the head coach, and it's just going to be the well-oiled machine that we've seen. It's not going to change. I don't see a reason why Kawhi would move because guess what? The Warriors going to break down. Steph's going to get older. He's going to get more injured. Kevin Durant is not going to be taking cheapo contracts still. Also, speaking of, he's a free agent after this year. He's not destined and locked to stay with Golden State.
Easiest
he wants
road.
to get paid. He can get paid.
Yeah.
What's that?
Easiest road.
Oh, easiest road. He can go easiest road and join Team LeBron on the All-Star team.
Yep.
But again, what I'm saying is that these teams around them are going to break down. Chris Paul's going to get older. James' contract is going to be get paid $37 million in 2 years, and that contract's just going to keep going up and up for the rest of that contract. I just feel like those teams are going to break down, and the teams that won't, even though Paul Gasol and LaMarcus Aldridge
That's the question.
dinosaurs,
Is
Kawhi
you're going to
Leonard
have
was gonna be
DJ and Kawhi, and then what else? Who else are your young guys on the team? Who's your up-and-coming prospects?
But don't you trust Greg Popovich to draft? Well, I mean, look, he got DeJounte Murray. He got Danny Green. He's gotten Manu Ginobili. He's gotten Tony Parker.
Yes.
Tim Duncan fell in his lap. Same with the Admiral as well. And Admiral was before his time.
Yeah.
But at least he's been able to draft those players before. If there's anyone I trust to draft and bring in young players, it's Greg Popovich. We look at it last year too. We see Dedmon be a great player for them. Picked up him off the scrap heap. Jonathan Simmons, same thing as well. He's been garbage out in Orlando. But
that's more of an Orlando problem.
Again, he's been able to find these prospects. If there's anyone I trust to do that, it's going to be Greg Popovich.
I say Davis Bertans. I mean, same thing.
Yeah.
Random guy.
I think he actually came in that Kawhi trade.
He might have.
If I remember correctly.
I don't even know.
It was George Hill for that 15th pick, and then two rights of a player. I think Bertrand's was one of them.
I don't know. He's not looked bad. That's just the thing. He does find interesting, but they're role players. He finds great role players. He has not hit on a star. Kawhi has been the one who he elevated to a star. Tony Parker, I would argue, is okay. Tony and Manu is hard to say no.
Those are stars.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard is a star.
After saying things out loud, I sound like an idiot. Yeah. I understand that.
And
now.
Again, you don't need a star every single year.
No,
you just need them intermittently.
That's what Kawhi was asking for. Was star talent.
He might have just hit a star in DeJounte Murray. We don't know. This kid's only 21 years old and looking fantastic in his second year, finally getting playing time. So again, these stars can come. You're still going to have 3 stars if DeJounte Murray turns into a star. You have 3 stars there: Murray, Kawhi, and LaMarcus Aldridge. And again, I still trust that process, and I still trust that system in Greg Popovich and his Spurs. Final thoughts for the podcast and Kawhi Leonard.
Just my final thoughts are, if there's going to be a trade, we'll see it next year, not this year.
I agree.
I don't think there's a trade because it's the Spurs.
Well, if there is a trade, though. I agree. It's not happening.
I'm just going to say no.
The big IF.
I'm just saying no.
I don't think I think Kawhi Leonard would be stupid to leave San Antonio. I'll say that. I think he'd be absolutely stupid.
If Pop leaves, would he leave? That's the question.
Maybe,
but I don't think Pop's leaving. I think he's just going to move up to a GM spot or a higher up spot, at least in that
president
organization.
Of operations, something
like that. But anyways, I don't think Kawhi's leaving. I think he'd be stupid to leave because you're going to get Supermax. You're going to see talent develop around. You're going to be a star of that team. Anyways. Big shout out to you guys. You guys rock. Dave Oster, Ricky Widmer, Sean Anderson. Again, check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. Forgot to do that in the intro. Also, check out mostvaluablepodcast.com. You can check out our store and our updated website. And also, don't forget to rate us 5 stars on iTunes over at the Fast Break Podcast, Rick and Johnny Podcast, Onside Kick, and the Primetime Podcast. Big shout out as well to everyone who listens at home. We love you guys. We'll be back next week with more Fast Break Podcast.